Hello and welcome to Ed Talk TV, Conversations Worth Having. I'm your host, Ed Troxel, and I help you turn your ideas into income and help you guide you through the tech challenges along the way. This show is a business talk show. We talk about business, tech, and the user experience. And today we're actually going to have a guest come on, fingers crossed, and everything will work out tech-wise. You know, tech can be interesting sometimes, especially when you try to take it to the next level when like the platforms and everything are still trying to catch up. That's what we do around here. We take it to the next level. So if this is your first time joining, welcome. In the comments, you'll want to make sure that you share whatever you're doing today. Let us know who you are. If you're new around here, let us know how your day's been going, even if you're catching the replay. You're going to notice that today I actually put in one long comment. It's actually a fun one that I decided to share with you guys. It's basically the top 7 things that maybe you don't know that I offer / have. So I put that in there. As always, checkwithed.com is your starting point. But I figure having a bulleted list for you might be easier because you can then just go directly to that spot. Just like you should go directly after this to sign up for my email newsletter. What is that? Well, it's a free weekly email that I send out on Fridays that have a weekly recap of the show. So you get all the episodes and then also sometimes tips, tricks, and discounts on certain things that I offer. You will also get into my welcome series, which is just a short little like 1 week type thing that helps train you on some basic stuff. Like we get to know each other, and then throughout the email series, you get to learn a little bit about business and some tips that I have for you to help save you some time, money, and stress. So that's all right there for you. Checkwithed.com is where you want to go. Welcome everyone jumping in. Happy Tuesday. Looking forward to today's topic. Yes, I am too. I'm hoping that our guest will pop on soon here. But in the meantime, we are going to jump into random news. So today's random news, and this one's a fun one. By the way, before I even go into showing you what the random news is, let me just ask you guys, did you guys catch this morning's Mornings with Ed? I'm just curious. Let me know, even if you're watching the replay. I'm wondering what your thoughts were on that. So this morning, for those who don't know what this is, hey, perfect, Kristen, perfect. Jump on to Skype if you can, and then I'll bring you on here shortly. So with the Mornings with Ed, it's something I'm testing. I'm going to do it again on Thursday morning because I know this is a hard time for some people, whether you're US, UK, or anywhere else in the world, time differences and all of that. So I'm keeping the show for now at the same time, same place, and currently still 5 days a week. That will probably change though. And then I'm trying out Mornings with Ed, which is just something fun. And this morning we actually came up with Mornings with Ed Real Talk. And we really talked about some things, especially when it comes to pricing. And I probably overshared again, like I do all the time here on the show. But it's one of those things that, perfect. I'm just going to type this in. Okay, cool. And it's just one of those things that I can't help it, you guys. I know. That's probably the biggest complaint I get is, Ed, you share way too much. It's a good thing though, right? It's a good thing because you guys benefit from it. And it's a lot of fun. So anyway, that was fun to do this morning. So I'm just curious what your thoughts are. If you haven't seen it and you go watch it later, just let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. Somebody even actually brought up the fact that I should even have my own like paid TV subscription service. I thought that was super cool because I did not think about that. I don't know how many people would actually pay for that, but I think that was a cool idea. So, you know, I feel like right now, July, because remember, by the way, guys, 2018, I told you, is the year of growth. And things have been working in that direction all year long since we started. Now, it's very interesting halfway through the year where it's almost this part where we're seeing things a little differently, meaning our businesses are making that little pivot. Some are making some big pivots, right? But we're making those little pivots that are pointing us in the right direction, and we're realizing certain things that are working and maybe not working in our favor. So it's very interesting. Am I the only one that sees that and feels that? Let me know in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys for today's random news before I bring on our guest. And so what's interesting about today's random news, let me go ahead and share my screen, is, let me move me over here, boom, is here in California, Southern California, there was a bear that decided to hop in the hot tub. The hot tub wasn't hot. They didn't have it turned on, but the jets were on, and this bear really enjoyed it. So let's take a quick look here. And there won't be any sound, so you can just hang out. But take a look at this bear. Now, the little tag in the corner of his ear is obviously a tag, but at first I was like, oh, they even were able to put like a flower on him or her and put it there. But check it out. The bear goes underwater. He's playing with the bubbles there, and he's just chilling. What would you want to do, or what would you do if you saw a bear in your hot tub? Like, just hanging out, just chilling like a big old dog. It's like, I think of my dogs doing that. You know, they're just hanging out, having a good time. And then apparently he got into a margarita that was around there, or a beer or something. So it's just something fun, lighten your day up. Let me just catch up on the comments real quick. Hey, Mindy, welcome. There is power in the pivot. Oh, so true, Kristen, so true. That is my neighborhood bear, Ed. His name is Rufus. He was in my front yard back in April. Oh, serious? Serious? This is your neighborhood? Are you playing with me? Are you playing with me? Huh? I just found this one and I thought it was super cool. But that's hilarious if you have a pet bear. That is cool. Paula's all, peace. I'd be calling 911. That's what Paula would be doing. She's like, we're calling 911. Bye. So let me go ahead and get this back on here. Perfect. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and transition over. This is the time for you to share, tag your friends, bring them over, because we're going to start bringing on our guest, and then they're going to introduce themselves, and then we're just going to jump into today's topic. You are serious. Wow, that's awesome to have a neighborhood pet bear, which doesn't look harmless. So I'm okay with that. But, you know, let's not get too close to the bear, but I think that's awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and ring up our guest. If this is your first time checking us out while we have a guest, this is the fun part. I think this is the fun part of the show. But go ahead and share this out, tag your friends, and bring them along for the journey. And I am going to go ahead and share my screen. Then we're going to call up our guest. Hello, hello. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. There we go. Look at the picture.
Let's
Awesome.
see.
Yep.
There we go.
Perfect. So, welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you here. And go ahead and introduce yourself to my audience.
Hi, my name is Kristen Arulis. I am a business consultant, and I help mom entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground without sacrificing a lot of time, money, and energy. And it took me a long time to figure that out, but that's what I help people do.
You know what? I love that you were honest about that and shared that up front, because we all can relate to that. We all go through it. Some of us are going through it right now as well. And it's so relieving, so refreshing to know that we're not alone.
Yes.
And so how did you come about your business, and how did you get kind of started? And then we'll jump into the Facebook and going live part of it.
Well, what got me started is, you could probably hear them in the background. I have 2 kids under the age of 2, and I am a military wife. So trying to find childcare and pay for me to go to work just didn't make sense, but I wanted to contribute financially to our household. And I've always had this deep dream of being something more than just a mom. And I totally get that that's some people's dream, is to work from home, like to be home with their kids.
Right.
But for me, I started off in childcare, and I knew that I wanted something more. And that's how I got started into being an entrepreneur and trying to find my way and figure out what I like doing and how I like helping people.
I love that. And remind me and let everyone know, how long have you kind of been in the entrepreneur game?
It has been 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yes, I got in shortly after my oldest was born.
Yeah. And it's been awesome to see the change and the growth that you've gone through over time. Like, it's so much fun, you guys, when, cause Kristen and I have known each other for, probably about the same time. I can't remember, but I would assume it's probably close to that. And it's one of those things that it's so fun to be able to watch everyone grow around you. And I know that's been a big thing for you, is your growth has really jumped big time, especially this year, I feel like.
Absolutely. And I have to contribute it to you. I've always been told by multiple people that I needed to go live in my, to get people to get in front of my audience, but I never really did it. And I don't know why. And I got stuck. But then I was like, Ed goes live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. I need to test this out and try it out. And I'll be honest, I literally have a little one standing right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, how can I find the time to go live when I never know my schedule? Right. But I decided last month to go live Monday through Friday, every day at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I did it. And I made it. And I decided to keep going live.
I love that. And you guys, I didn't ask her to say any of that, by the way. That was all organic. That was natural. That is really cool, though, to be able to. So that's how I'll tell you guys too. That's how I started with the whole going live. Is I felt the same way, to be honest, where I thought, how am I? This is before we started going live this year. I was thinking, how am I going to go live 5 days a week? And how am I going to commit to being there at 4 p.m. every day? Like, I don't know what my schedule is. I don't know what clients are going to be doing. You know, like, all of these things came to me, and I was like, okay, but I just have to start. And we'll figure it out along the way. And then for me, what I've discovered is that it becomes a habit, a part of your work routine, and then you protect that time as much as you can to do that.
Absolutely.
And of course, it's a little more challenging because you have the little ones. How has that kind of worked in terms of, have you run into those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I need to start the live, but I have the kids and I don't know what to do? Or has it just been super smooth for you?
This is a perfect example right now with you asking me that question. My daughter has sweet tea and it's my cup, but she wants the ice out of it.
Of course.
So I realized that me going live, I was constantly worrying about, well, what are my kids going to do? Are they going to want something from me? And I found out that when I decided to move forward and go, I'm literally digging ice out in the middle of talking.
I love it.
When I decided to go live and to keep pushing forward, I realized my lives where my kids interrupted have been my highest reach videos of all time. Those are the videos that people connect with, and they get like 3 times more engagement than the ones when I'm sitting in front of my computer and I'm like, everything's organized and I know what I'm doing.
Okay, I'm going to pause on that one because you guys, I want you to understand that. That is huge because all of you guys watching right now, even if you're watching the replay, you're going to be thinking to yourself, either one, I can't go live because I'm just not into it or I just don't have the perfect setup. Or 2, you are going live, but you're like, this isn't the right time or the right place or whatever. But listen to what she just said. It's one of those times where when you just go live, if you know that you have something to talk about and you want to share it, you just go live and you just let it happen naturally. And that's the ones that those are the ones that people relate to the most. And those are the ones that get the highest engagement. I love that. Paula just said, I love it. Kristen, you're such a mom.
Yes, with cold fingers right now.
That is awesome. And you guys, she just typed into the comments, thank you, Paula. So really multitasking and staying on point. That is like, good job.
Thank you. Here you go. Go watch TV.
And so how long have you been doing the consistent live part of it?
Consistently since last month, the 4th of June. That Monday was when I first started going live, and I would say that 5th live, that Friday, was my highest reach because I was in the kitchen. My kids decided not to take a nap that day, and I just kept pushing it. And it ended up being a 19-minute long video because I kept forgetting what I was talking about.
Right.
But a lot of people loved it.
Hey, how are ya?
She totally wants FaceTime now.
Yep. She's like, hey.
Say hi.
She's like, hey, what's happening?
Here.
We're teaching them young, you guys. Oh, look, see, we don't play around on the show. We bring everyone in. Like, I got the dogs over here. She's got the kids. I know some of you guys have your kids listening in. Like, we start young here. Like, this is how we do it.
Absolutely.
And so going live, okay, so this is what I love. So you started the going live part. You went consistently. You noticed right away that week that you had your highest engagement towards the end there. And it's because your audience, I'm guessing fellow moms, can relate directly to what you're doing, and they're being inspired by you going live. They're inspired and motivated because they now see that, yes, I can do that too. She's doing it, and she's got 2 kids right there. And she's still working on her business and still wants to share things with her audience. I got this. I can do this. And then that's going to prompt a domino effect for everyone else who tunes in. They're going to now feel more empowered to go live.
Absolutely. For me, going live and being consistent about it, and I think my kids interrupted maybe 3 times. I was out running errands, buying things for the kids one time, and from those, I ended up getting 3 podcast interviews.
Oh, wow.
And people have been referring me clients. And it shocked me because they were like, I saw the video where you were still talking to us, but your kids were like asking you for stuff in the kitchen, and I just needed to have you on my show, and I was completely shocked.
That is cool. So people were coming to you because they saw your lives.
Absolutely.
See, you guys, that's the power of going live. It's a free thing that you can do, and it's in the power of your hands. Like, you don't have to have a fancy setup. You can just go live and share what you know, and then people discover you, and that's when they start reaching out to you and name dropping you and starting to give you referrals and giving more clients towards your business. Like, it's a whole chain reaction, and it may not happen overnight, but the more that you're present, the more that stuff happens. And how old are the kids again? I forget.
Zion is 2 and Niall is 1. They're 13 months apart.
Okay, yeah. So definitely not an easy task at times when you're trying to do things for business.
Absolutely.
And then, so we went into starting with the Facebook Lives. We went consistently with that. Now, how do you kind of go about your lives? Do you have topics that you think about ahead of time and then you kind of schedule it out? Or do you just say, okay, well, it's Monday and I feel like talking about this? Like, how does that process work?
Well, I basically schedule mine out. I actually started doing a theme for the entire week. So like last week was finances, and I do a theme for the entire week, and I write out what I want to talk about. Okay, go take it off. And I write out what I want to talk about, and then because my audience is moms, I found that when I create a syllabus for my community, and I let them know what I'm going live about Monday through Friday. And when they find out, or when they know up front, I notice that my lives, the amount of people that jump on when I'm actually live, increases.
Yeah.
So, but I will be honest, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes I end up literally figuring out what I'm talking about 20 seconds before I have to press start.
Yep.
Because I didn't have time to plan anything out, or what I planned on planning out or talking about didn't feel right anymore. So, yes.
Yeah.
I do a little mixture of both.
And that's what's nice to hear, is that you can schedule, you guys, in terms of like what you want to talk about, but also realize that sometimes it's not always gonna add up. You know, it's the same with like when you schedule your lunch breaks. You say, okay, at 12 o'clock, I'm gonna have a lunch break every day. But even if you're at a 9 to 5, that may not happen every day. It may be 11, it may be 12:30, it may be 1. Like, it's just a good guide there, but it's hard to keep that in check all the time. So understand that's the thing that will happen, and you should be able to have that flexibility for that, and knowing that having that theme will help and provides some more some more options for you in that case. And when you said you share a syllabus with them, are you like just posting that on your page, just like a Word doc thing, or just a regular post, or how does that work?
Well, what I do is something just happened to my camera.
Oh.
Inside of my, I'm going to keep talking as I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, no problem.
Inside of my community, in my Facebook group, I actually let my team know, or like let my audience know exactly what I am going to talk about. And I created in a Canva graphic for them. And I found that has really been helpful in like letting them see what I'm talking about, and if they want to actually be there at that time live to ask me questions.
Okay, so that's cool. So let me break this out and then correct me if I'm wrong or make changes here. But you have your Facebook business page where you go live. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and then you have your Facebook group, which is where you post your information about the syllabus / the themes for that week.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, you guys, we talked about this a little bit yesterday in terms of how to use Facebook pages and really start to think about them as your storefront window and what to feature there. So to tie that example into today, think about this. Kristen is having her Facebook Lives in her storefront window on her Facebook business page. Then she's going through and letting her community know inside her Facebook group what is going on. So some of you had asked yesterday, how do I figure out what to post on my page versus my group? That is a perfect example and ties in beautifully to what we had talked about yesterday. And what's nice about that is that then in the group, and I'm guessing is it a free open Facebook group, or is it secret or private or any of those?
It's absolutely free. It's something that I started doing a while ago, as far as trying to find a community for moms that we could talk about being in business, but also complain a little bit, because it does suck sometimes when we want to do certain things and it doesn't work out our way. But having it where the community is a safe space where you don't feel like you're going to get talked about or someone upset because you had something to share, or you want to share something about what was going wrong.
Right.
So it is a free group, yes.
Nice. Okay, perfect. And you guys share links in the comments later. But that's another key thing. So again, to reiterate the example, you have your business page where you can share your Facebook Lives, but then you can have your Facebook group that is where you really can have that tight-knit community where they actually see your posts and engage with you. And then you can have that where you're like, okay, here's what's going to happen on the show this week. And then that's also a great way, and I don't know if you do this or get this already, but that's also a great way to be able to allow people to speak up and kind of give some feedback and ask their questions prior to your show, so then you can kind of tie that in as needed for it.
Yes, that is a great way. I actually kind of test out what are they having struggles with in their business and what would they like to know, and I give them first dibs to kind of help me figure out what exactly I should be talking about on my Facebook page.
Yeah, I like that. And have you noticed your reach on your Facebook post for your lives? Have you noticed that increasing over time, or has it kind of just been like it's just there type thing?
It has definitely been increasing. I've noticed that not only has it been increasing, I'm getting consistent people showing up every day for my live videos. And I've noticed that by the time I end my video, the number of people who viewed it while I was on live has definitely been increasing, as well as the comments.
Oh, and that's the important part that we love, is the comments. You guys, that is the big one. Engagement. If nothing else, you want to have that engagement. And that's huge. And that's why I'm really liking that strategy you have going on there, because it really speaks to your audience and they really can get engaged inside the Facebook group and then realize, oh, we're going over here to the page. Now, let me also ask, when you are going live, are you being consistent with always that 12 o'clock hour, or has it fluctuated a little bit?
It has definitely been 12 o'clock hour. I normally try to go live within the first 10 minutes.
Okay.
However, today I went live, but we were not at home, and I didn't realize my internet cut out, so the video was like 35 seconds long.
Yeah.
So I end up re-recording it at 1 o'clock today. But other than that, I try to keep it in the same 12 o'clock hour.
Okay, perfect. So you guys, the reason I was asking that is because it's similar to my show where it's same time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, consistently. And that also helps with your audience. So that way they know, obviously we want everyone to like, follow, and see first our page. But even if they do or don't do that, it is nice to have that reminder of, okay, well, we're going to be consistent and still be here on these days at this time. So hang out and check it out, because people will wait for you. They will show up and be like, okay, where's Kristen? Where's Ed? What's going on? It's 4 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock. Like, what's happening? Are we having something today? Right?
That does happen. I've had people message me like, is everything okay? Are the kids okay?
It's true. And like, that's why when I went on vacation last week, I put out an actual post. I don't know how many people actually got to see it because, Facebook algorithm, but I put out the post and went the extra mile to share with everyone, like, listen, we're not going to have anything this week because I'm on vacation. So just so you guys know. And that helped, and people appreciated that. And I think that makes it stand out a little bit too.
Absolutely. I know for a fact that for me, that is exactly the case.
I love that. And what about how do you find targeted leads for your local events? I'm curious about that one.
I am a big fan of also building your local authority. And so I use meetup.com. I originally started attending other people's meetup events, but then I found that I did not like going to them because the times were completely off for me as being like a mom with kids. My daughter is totally laughing at me. She's laughing at my facial expression. But you all can't see it because something happened to my camera.
Yeah. No worries.
But I started hosting, come here, baby. I started hosting my own meetup groups, and I grew my group to over 200 people. Granted, all 200 people don't attend every single event, but that's 200 people that have met me at some point in time, attended one of my events, and could say, I like her, I know her, I trust her, and can recommend me clients. They're totally wrestling on the floor now.
That is cool. And thank you, Tina, for letting me know. Tina said that she saw my out of office post, which is awesome. So how are you using Meetup? Because I know that there's some other people that have been talking about using that, and it's been a while. I've only attended things on Meetup, but in person, so I haven't really used it a whole lot lately.
So what I do is I schedule between 2 to 4 events a month. So if it's 2, they are bi-weekly. If there are 4, I do 1 per week. I try not to give people a lot of options because then they'll kind of say, oh, I'll attend the next event.
Yeah.
And with me giving them the 4 options, and I don't use it to like say, hey, come to my event, let's spend an hour talking about my business.
Right.
I do things that people that are business minded will be interested in doing. Yeah. So I have a meetup where like right before this quarter started, we had a meetup talking about our last 2 quarter finances. Okay. And we like literally sat together and worked out our finances for the month. Or I would do things like we just do networking things, or we meet up for coffee and collaboration, nice. Tea talks, so things like that. And it's really not me sharing about my business while there. The way that I convert them, though, is I have them fill out a form when they first show up. And it's like a simple form, name, email, phone number, and a few questions kind of to guide me into knowing better events to schedule for the future.
Sure.
But my most important question on that form is asking them, would you be interested in learning how I could help you with your business goals?
I love that.
And when they check yes, that now gives me permission to email them or to call them and offer them my services.
See, that's smart, you guys, and I love that you have that question there because it's a simple, hey, do you want to see how I can help you? If you do, check the box and I'll give you a call or email. That's perfect. And with your meetups, is it all in person in your local area, or are you doing things online with them too? So like people outside your area can still meet up and do a Zoom call with you or something?
I am actually only doing local, in my area right now.
Which is good.
But I am in the process of doing something online because I have people that are actually in Africa. For some reason, wow. I have people from Africa that have been connecting with me, probably because I wear headscarves most of the time when I don't have a haircut.
Yeah.
And so they've been reaching out to me, and I was like, Zoom will be a great way for me to connect with people in different countries, and for them to have the information that I can provide.
That's really cool, and that's the power of the technology that we have, and it's such a beautiful thing. I think that's really awesome.
Yes.
And so that, I really love how you summed everything up into that simple method of just using Meetups, which is a powerful tool that everyone has, and it's free too, right?
It is free to attend an event, but to host them, you could pay, I think it's like $19 a month if you want to pay per month. I usually do the 6-month option, which is like $85.
Okay.
And you can have a limited amount of groups and an unlimited amount of members. So I actually have 2 meetups currently, and I'm working on my 3rd meetup.
That's cool.
And I'm just utilizing them for different area, like how I have mine set up. I have one that's really business minded, but I also have one that is like health related. Like you still want to take care of your health while building your business. And then I'm thinking about doing a last one that's really mom and business related, where we're doing things like work dates. That's a combination of play dates.
Yep.
And I'm just testing out which ones work best for me for my audience.
See, that's really good. You're testing. You guys notice that she said she's testing to see what works for our audience. That's something that you're going to want to do with whatever you're working with. And of course, already in my head, here's the overshare, already in my head, I'm thinking, once you schedule your meetups, are you also scheduling a Facebook event that ties into that? Meaning that you're linking them basically together, so then that way Facebook can push that through into their local area events.
Yes, I do. And
Good.
I actually teach my clients to do this because Meetup and Google are so connected that if someone Googled networking events for moms in my area, my Meetup will be one of the first things that pop up. And so I've really been trying to maximize on that. And that's how I've been growing the actual group so big in such a short time, because I just started that at the end of last year.
Love that. That is cool. That's so good. And that's the big thing, you guys, is notice that you're kind of doing a couple things here, but it works in your favor. And whatever events you're doing, you also want to make sure that you make a Facebook event for that too, because it will help throughout Facebook land.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, anything else that you had that you wanted to share with us before I let you go?
I would just say get started and start scheduling your lives now, because it is definitely helping me. Like, I have not only received podcast interviews or clients referring me to people. Last week, I had a client tip me over $200 just because I was going live on a consistent basis and I was helping her in her business. She wasn't a current client. She was someone that I worked with at the end of last year, and she just still had a link that I had out there and said, hey, I just want to tip you. I saw your live video. It really helped me make a decision with something I was doing. And for me, that was a major, like, wow, this is like, wow. But then not only that, of receiving that tip, I also ended up getting more clear on what I want to offer and who I want to serve. Because as I'm creating content, I'm noticing what makes me happy, what do I enjoy doing, and what's in my wheelhouse of knowledge. Compared to, like, when we first get started, you know, entrepreneurship, you're in between living luxury and on a ramen noodle, like, meal plan.
Yep. That
you start doing kind of a lot of work just to bring in income compared to work that you know how to do, that is, like, your expertise. So this has really clarified what have I been doing that is just something I was doing for income compared to what really is my passion and what, like, warms my heart.
That was so beautifully said, and that's exactly how it's supposed to work, and that's what we want to aim for, is not doing all of the work, but doing the right work and being able to just serve and help and make that impact. And I love that you bring up that tip part, because you guys, that's something that you should just have just available. You know, you'll see at the end of the show each time is I have my PayPal link there. Why? Not because I expect a tip, but just because I've had people in the past ask me for that, because they have wanted to give me a tip, but they just didn't know how until they asked me, and then I'd give them the link and be surprised. So it's one of those things that have the options available, because you never know when people are going to want to help support you whichever way they can. And so another reason for you to go live or to share your content in whatever medium works for you is to know that you may be sharing it for free right now, but it's going to pay off in the long run, whether that's a tip, whether that's a client, whether that's a referral.
Absolutely.
All of that stuff applies, right? So make sure that you guys pay attention to that. So Kristen, thank you so much for joining us, and thank the little ones for hanging out with us as well. And be sure to, when you can, drop into the comments and drop your links so that way people can go check out your stuff and follow your page and get in there.
Yes, I totally agree with that. It shocked me.
Yeah.
Like, who tips $200? I'm thankful for it, but that wasn't something I was expecting, and it was just a great perk for me going live.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you know what's funny, talking about tips, you guys, not business related in this sense, but when I used to do catering, fun fact, I used to do catering, and I was bartender, which was one of my goals in life, I guess, was just to be a bartender just for fun. And it was so funny because I was bartending a wedding, and this happened a few times, and I got tips, and I was like, people tip at a wedding? Like, this is crazy. Like, I just got, a 20, I just got a 50. Like, how cool is this? You guys, I didn't know. I don't go to a ton of weddings, and it's open bar, and it's like, why would anybody tip you when it's open bar? And it was just super cool, and it's just those nice surprises. So, you just never know. You just never know. And it could be $1, it could be 50, or in this case, Kristen got 200. Like, it's just nice to have those options available for whoever is around that decides they want to take that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, when you have a chance, jump into the comments so people can find you and check out all your stuff. And I appreciate you taking the time to join us today and share with us, how you've been able to grow your Facebook page and group by going live, and by also using local events with Meetup. That's a really fun fact there. So I appreciate it.
No problem. I'm happy to help. And I'm happy that the sound worked, even though the video got screwed. Yep. I'm happy the sound worked so that I could be here and just say what Ed is teaching is totally true. Go live. He motivated me, and now I plan on keeping it. I'm even going live tomorrow. We might be on a beach somewhere. I don't know, but I'm going to go live because I know my audience is going to be there waiting for me. Yep. So, yeah, I would just say definitely get started. Don't wait.
I love that. Thank you so much. And have fun tomorrow at the beach if you end up going there.
Thank you.
All right.
Happy holidays.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So you guys, that's what I'm talking about, and that's the cool thing. And you notice that we had some tech issues with Kristen's camera going out, but we kept going. That's the beauty of it. And that's the cool thing for that. And that's why I love being able to bring guests on the show. And now I even changed up my guest request form, which you can find at checkwithed.com, or in the comments, I put that top 7 list. So the reason what I put on the new form was, or the updated form I should say, is the option for you to say if video is okay or not. Because some people maybe just can't go on video for whatever the reason is. Maybe they just can't go on video. But that doesn't have to stop you from coming onto the show and sharing your knowledge. Like you saw today, which was a perfect example. We can still do audio. I can just bring you in as audio, and we can just keep the conversation going. So don't let your fear of being on live video hold you back. We have options. That's what I do. That's what I do. I make the magic happen, okay? So it's all about that. Mindy and Paula says, yes, this is awesome. Thanks, Kristen, for your tips. So I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to let you go, and we will see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow. And until then, I'll leave you guys with this. Take care. What is the Hey Ed community? I'll let them tell you.
I'm drawn to this community, Erica, because listen, I'm going to make sure as a business person, I know you are as well, serious business women, we're going to make sure that we're getting the content knowledge we need from the Hey Ed community but I also want to laugh. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy my workday. And I know I'll get that balance in the Hey Ed community. I know he'll tolerate our tangents.
And I think that's the perfect way to have a really good engaged community. It's a perfect balance of business and fun.